could have subscribed to any other YouTube channel, but you chose to subscribe here. So, hit that notification, hit that like button, and tune in with Adrian and Glib Talk. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's Glib. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's Glib. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. 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 Let's all get right on the late night with a little discussion or a heated debate on sports, news, current events. Glib Talk is where you gotta tune in for facts and different opinions. This is Glib Talk, hosted by Adrian, who will dissect the dichotomy of the fake news by its views. Trying to get to the truth, or we could just shoot the shit. We all trolls in here, that's why the chat stay lit. In the live stream where everyone clowns let off a little steam.
Mic check, mic check.
Smash the like button. You can subscribe to the page. Turn on the notification for the live stream and upload updates. If you talking to hear your own voice, that's lit. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's lit. I can sell drinking water to a fish with Glib. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk.
What's going on, good people? What's going on, good people? Thank you for clicking on the play button. My name is Adrian. This is Glib Talk. I'm working on some shit. I'm trying to get my shit together over here. Well, I'm only hearing in one ear, though. It's kind of bothering me. Let's see here. Something ain't right, but it's all right. But thanks for clicking on the play button. We're going to get into this right now. Let's go get into it right now. I'm working on a new intro, so I'm trying to figure that part out right there. I don't like how this damn thing sounds, though. It sucks. Anyway, my name is Adrian, and this is Glib Talk. And today we are talking about Paul Whelan. I'm not sure if you know who Paul Whelan is. Paul Whelan is the former U.S. Marine who was arrested in Russia on espionage charges. What year was this he was arrested? He was arrested in 2018. And this is from January 1st, 2019, this article from the Detroit Free Press. There's been a lot of discussion going on over the past couple of days because Joe Biden, the president of the United States, did a prisoner exchange for Brittany Griner and Russian arms dealer, the Merchant of Death. And so people are saying, well, Brittany Griner is a drug addict and Paul Whelan is a American hero. So Paul Whelan should have been exchanged for this international arms dealer, the Merchant of Death. And I would say that, well, one, Paul Whelan isn't an American hero. He's not an American hero. And his exploits have been greatly exaggerated, his military service. And it's the unfortunate part is that we're 3 years removed from him being arrested, but they're still telling the same story, which means that they choose not to tell the truth. And by they, I mean the people who support him, the media that's trying to sway you one way or the other. Like, it would be fair if someone said Paul Whelan was in the Marines and he was arrested in Russia on espionage charges. I would say that is a fair assessment of what happened. That is fair. When you say Paul Whelan served honorably in the military and he retired from the Marines and he's a 4-star general and all this other crap, none of that shit's true. None of that shit's true. And then to say that Brittany Griner is a drug addict comparatively to Paul Whelan, I don't have a care, right, for either or, right? I don't have a care for either or, right? I would say Brittany Griner got arrested because she had drug paraphernalia, drug residue on her person. She was traveling to a foreign country and they have their own rules. So she has to suffer the consequences of what happens when she gets arrested over there. The fact that America negotiated her return says that maybe she was overcharged and harshly punished, and that's not how American citizens should be treated. So it was worth an exchange. Paul Whelan is accused of having a USB drive with Russian state secrets on it that he says he does not know how he got, but he had it. He does not know how he got it, but he knows he has it. He thought he was going to get some family photos and some shit like that, and what he received was Russian state secrets. First off, where did you even meet a Russian spy? Where did you meet a person who could exchange with you these secrets? And why is that person not arrested? Because I promise you, if someone said to me, hey, look, matter of fact, I got probably fucking 10 different USB drives in here, right? If somebody said to me, hey, look, I'm gonna give you a USB drive with some photos on it from when your daughter played softball for our team, and they gave it to me and I took it and I walked away, and on that USB drive was Russian state secrets, US state secrets, people's social security numbers, people's account information, something that someone had stolen or was trying to exchange for something else, I would say, well, where the fuck did this come from and why did that person give it to me? And if I was arrested with it, I would snitch on that person, whoever the fuck that person was, my brother, my sister, my cousin, whoever. I wasn't in this game to be a fucking spy. I was expecting photos and you gave me spy shit? No. Go get, I'm going to tell you exactly who he was. I'm going to tell you where he lives. I'm going to tell you how I know him. I'm going to tell you where I got his number from. I'm going to tell you all the shit about this fucker because I wasn't in the spy game to get arrested as a fucking spy. Now, this guy's family wants us to believe that this guy, this regular guy, is just deeply involved in Russia. He's traveling back and forth to Russia for many, many years, speaks Russian, just loves Russian culture or whatever the fuck. Now, we believe that, we can believe that it can happen to anybody. I don't know why this guy was going to Russia. But when he ended up over there, he ended up with information that the Russians somehow knew that he was going to receive because they were watching someone. They were watching someone who had done something, stolen something, copied something, whatever the fuck. And they were monitoring their activity, and they found this fucking guy with the stuff that they knew he had. And if he didn't know that it was on there, I would have snitched on the person that gave it to me immediately. But he didn't. But let's look at some of these news stories that I found today. Because I just found this out today because I didn't give a shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not care about Brittany Griner or Paul Whelan. I did not. If you go overseas and you commit a crime and you get arrested, that's your bad. That's your bad. They got different laws over there. It's the same when people come over here, right? We got different laws over here. We got to follow them. If you can't follow the laws over here, you get punished. I don't want to go into an international prison. I don't want to be in a Mexican jail or a Russian jail or whatever. So I try to follow the rules of the places that I go to. And I'm not a fucking international spy, so there's that. But this guy, here, let me pull this article real quick. This is an article from January 1st, 2019. It says, Nobi man, what's up, QST? It says the Nobi man is under criminal investigation for espionage and is being held by Russian authorities in Moscow. Paul Whelan was arrested December 28th in Moscow while on a spy mission, Russian authorities said. He's an ex-Marine who works as a director of global security for an auto supplier. His job involves overseeing security for facilities, assets, and people. That's what they say. Now this is what got me in here. Oh shit, somebody clicked the link. Let's see what it says. Monica Mo Justice.
You know I'm mad about this.
What's going on, Mo? Oh, was you working on this?
No. In Limity, I was gonna send you something.
Oh.
Did you get the part where he was dismissed? He was dishonorably discharged.
See, you getting ahead of me. I got it right up here on the screen.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up. See, this is what got me. Right? Because in this tweet that I'm about to read, his family says, Paul is a retired Marine. This is his brother, his twin brother. Now this motherfucker is not a retired Marine, number one. And I don't have you on, I don't have you on the screen so nobody can see you.
Okay.
But this fucker is not a retired Marine. He was kicked out, right? He has a bad conduct discharge. But why would his brother say that other than to try to get favor? Why wouldn't they just tell the truth? Right? If they told the truth.
That blew me away. That blew me away yesterday because I was like, but that's not why the government probably left you behind.
No, he probably is a fucking spy. He probably is a spy. That's why he left him there.
But did you hear what they said? They said that they need to trade, so they have to make a offer that's similar to an offer. So they was like, so if we get a spy, for instance, like if we pick up a spy, then we can trade a spy for a spy. But it's like he's not going to negotiate. It's like a non-negotiable because he was spying.
But I guess the question is, was he spying for the United States or was he spying for somebody else? Who is he spying for? Because if he was spying for the United States, they might have more stake in the game of getting him home.
They would have already tried harder to get him home because I heard this is like the second negotiation that somebody went home and he didn't. But it's interesting the charges that were against him as a military person.
Right.
So you know why he was discharged. He strikes me as a person that might get down with some undesirables.
Yes. And that's how I felt about it, right? Because like I didn't know anything about him until this morning because I didn't care. This morning when I woke up, I was listening to Black Rosebud's video, and Black Rosebud is saying this guy is a hero, and the only reason why Brittany Griner was released is because they're trying to push the gay agenda on America. So she was only released because she was gay and because she was black. And I was like, I don't believe that to be true, right? But who is this guy? Because I don't know anything. I know Brittany Griner is the basketball player. I do not know who this guy is. And as I'm reading the first article in the first paragraph says he got a bad conduct discharge. And in the same article, you can read a tweet where his brother says he retired. Well, both of those things can't be true. So somebody's lying. And then when you start looking at more shit, it's like this guy seems like he's a fucking liar. His background is sketchy.
from what I reviewed, right? I'm not sure. So, are they clear that he got a dishonorable discharge? Because I know he was court-martialed and he appealed it.
You can't read this on the screen because it's too small for you, Mo. But
Mm-hmm.
or maybe I can share with you. But this is from the United States Marine Corps Court of Criminal Appeals from
Mm-hmm.
14 January
Okay, so yeah,
2008.
so he appealed.
He
Right.
appealed it, and it was like, "Nah, motherfucker, you did that shit. You did that."
Okay.
And in not so many words. This is only like 2 paragraphs. They were like, "In conclusion, you did it. You did what they said you did." So, but this doesn't say exactly what he did. This just says that they agree that it says he used someone's social security number. He made a false statement. 3 specifications of dereliction of duty. But he also tried to cash like a $10,000 check or some shit, or steal $10,000 check, something like that.
He stole somebody's social security. Yeah,
Yeah.
I read that part. I was like, so he could have in time progressed to do something worse, you know, and you know, so it's a possibility that he did engage in what the Russians said he did.
But like if you just take all the facts at face value without adding anything to it, this guy goes to Russia for a wedding, right? This isn't a guy who's not familiar with Russia. His family says he's been back and forth to Russia many times over the years for whatever reason, right? He speaks Russian. He uses these Russian talking apps, and he's on some Russian social media site that why would anybody be using? But this is what he's done. He goes over to Russia. And while his family's doing whatever they're doing, on one of the days, he goes and does his own thing, separate from his family. And his family says that was strange because everybody was over here and he decided to go over there. And on that day, he meets someone that gives him something. He goes back to his hotel room and he's arrested the next day. He says, I don't know what they gave me. But what's on the USB drive is Russian state secrets. This is what his lawyer says. This is on the USB drive. So his lawyer says there were state secrets on it, but he didn't know it was there. He thought it was going to be pictures. So if he received this and it was supposed to be pictures, why wouldn't he say, you know, that guy who I met on his Russian social media site, he was supposed to give me pictures, but he gave me Russian secrets and I didn't want that. Go arrest him. He's the one that's a spy, not me. Why wouldn't
maybe whatever, maybe the pictures weren't appropriate either. You're already engaging in something that's illegal.
Yeah, or at least appears to be suspect in some kind of a way.
Correct. But more than likely, you would be engaging in something that would make you embarrassed if it was revealed, so that you stay quiet when you get in trouble. But you know, when he got apprehended, if I was to believe him, right? The question would be, what were the pictures? Like, that would be my question. Like, what were the pictures of? Because it was something worthy of you hiding it or not wanting to disclose it, that you found yourself deeper in a rabbit hole.
So this is what it says. It says, Whelan's attorney, Vladimir Zebrakov, told reporters Tuesday that Whelan never expected to receive state secrets, but instead had asked the unnamed Russian, which is a problem for me, right? Because if I got caught with state secrets and they was going to give me 16 years in fucking jail, I'd be like, his name was fucking Viktor Volkov. That was his name. This is where he lives. This is how I know him. I wouldn't be over there talking about, I'm not going to say who he is. The unnamed Russian to put travel images on a flash drive as he hadn't been able to open them from an email. He was expecting to see on the flash drive some personal information like pictures or videos, something like that about the person's previous trips around Russia. We don't know how the material that contains state secrets ended up there. I would know how it got there because I would have snitched. I would have fucking snitched. There's no way I'd be over there. And so Jola says it smells like a setup to me, but who set him up? He went there to Russia and he met someone that he knew in some kind of way he was familiar with. So who set him up?
Well, why engage in something that could ultimately be considered a setup? I see the problem that I'm having with everybody going to Russia, right? Like, what brought you over there in the first place? Because it's not it's a dictatorship, it's a communist place. Like, why would you want to go somewhere where freedom is not available to the people that live there commonly? So why would you want to go to a place where, where that's an issue just in and of itself? I wouldn't want to, but who am I?
Yeah, I mean, I would maybe in 2000. Well, no, in 2019 we didn't have good relations with them either. So nah.
Well, here's the issue. The second issue for me, right? Well, because I only did a limited review of this dude and came up with this, that he got this thing, and I was like, I'm gonna read up on it more today, but I was gonna forward it to you. But why? I'm just, it's weird. The whole thing is weird. But he was arrested and convicted on whose watch? Because he's been there more than 2 years.
So that's the other part of the story. Right now, the conservatives are trying to say, well, this is all Joe Biden's fault, right? And Joe Biden said yesterday, well, there are some people who've been detained before my presidency, which made me look it up too a little more. Like, it made me get a little more interest in the story, right? The guy was arrested in 2019. Donald Trump was president. He's a Republican and he's a Trump supporter. Matter of fact, when Donald Trump, look at this right here. I saw this today. This is from let me see if I can just put that part on the screen. On PBS, right? They played a little clip of his damn Facebook page.
On Masterpiece Mystery.
There's been a terrible mistake. I must speak to Inspector Wellington immediately.
It's not gonna be fast forward to the part. When Donald Trump was arrested, he congratulated Donald Trump on his Facebook page in Russian.
The spy, the alleged spy?
Yeah, the alleged spy. He congratulated Donald Trump. What's up, Miss G? He congratulated Donald Trump on his Facebook page in Russian. So so he definitely had an interest in Russia. I don't know what his, like affinity for Russia is, right? But he appears to have one. He went over there and he met with someone that maybe he was set up. Maybe the person who he met with was like, hey, I got a sucker over here, which is why I labeled the title of the video how I did. Is he just an unwitting Rube? He didn't know that he was getting played, which happens a lot. He could have just been getting played. He didn't know what he was getting into. And they're taking advantage of him because he was too stupid to realize that he was being punked and being punked into being used as a spy exchange. But the woman who they wanted to exchange him for was already released. I don't think that they even did exchange for her. I think she just served their time and then let her go home. So I'm not, I don't know.
Well, what's the title of this video?
What is the title of this video? The title of this video is Paul Whelan, International Spy or Unwitting Rube. Unwitting Rube. Yeah. Okay. So like, and cause like his family wants to tell the story as if this guy just went over there. He didn't know what the hell he was getting into. He was just getting some pictures, and then the pictures turned out to be.
The brother seemed understanding to me that his brother was not released in this wave.
Oh yeah, I didn't listen to the brother's interview that he did. I saw clips of it on the news, but I didn't click it. The only thing
he didn't seem so bothered that his brother wasn't released. Mm-hmm. He just would like them to give it more consideration.
I mean, the most offensive thing to me is that the Christian conservative right wing has determined that Brittany Griner is a lesbian or whatever she is, right? She has a wife, and for that reason, working for her freedom is pushing the lesbian or gay agenda. And
well, let me say this. That's partial. I think there is also a cry out that she refuses to pledge allegiance to the flag. She refuses to sing the national anthem in a country, in the country that freed her. So we have to see what behavioral changes she engages in went through this experience, because for her this would be a life-changing experience.
Correct.
So she might never have to touch the basketball court again. I could see like a book deal, like I could see engagements. I could see this being financially as rewarding as playing basketball, but it's what the impact of the experience was like.
See, you know the problem I have with that thought, Mo, the thought that because she's not patriotic toward America, that she doesn't deserve the rights of a citizen. Like, it's not a requirement to stand for the flag. It's not a requirement to love America. It's not a requirement to do any of these things, to sing the national anthem or any of that stuff, right? So the fact that she doesn't do it doesn't mean that the United States should say, well, we're not going to help her, because it's like, it's their job to protect citizens, whether the citizen believes in what you're trying to push forward through your government or not, in my opinion. Because otherwise, we'd all have to pledge allegiance to the flag, and now you're looking at a totally different type of America when you're required to stand for the flag and to sing the national anthem and to do. Now you're looking at more of a dictatorship. You're looking more like Nazi Germany, when Hitler made the fucking people sing songs whenever he walked in the room, and if you didn't sing, they beat you up.
But moving beyond World War I-II theatrics, right? Yeah. You know how that plays out on the YouTube space, right? Yeah. I'm not saying that she should. I thought that was going to be their talking points for the morning, more so than her sexuality. You know, her sexuality and its implications on. They went and got her, period, because she was, if I may just be cordial about it, she was different, and it was dangerous for her to be different. So the same thing that they're talking about, her ideology, her sexual preference, those are all the things that could have, in fact, caused her more bodily harm in the situation that she was in than the dude that is found so far guilty of whatever, he being a spy.
Yeah, espionage. But see, the thing about Brittany Griner is that is her crime that she committed comparative to the international arms dealer? No. But
absolutely,
she's
absolutely not.
But she is overcharged and going to be harshly punished for a minor crime. She is not
overcharged.
Overcharged for what we would no, you're right. And we had this discussion before. For what we would consider a marijuana possession charge. She's overcharged.
Correct, but we have to respect the rules. You go into another country, you have to respect their rules. So where we may think that it's overcharged and overpunished for our standards, it's not for their standards. Was she if we were to compare her release to that of requesting this man's release, the one that you're focused on today, you can't compare her crime to his crime. Her crime was against self.
Yep.
You understand? His crime was against that sovereign nation. That's a way bigger crime than what she was doing. The person we should have been negotiating tit for tat for would have been the guy that we gave them for him. But in neither circumstance did the government feel that it was equivalent. Like, the guy we gave back to them could have been a good match for this guy based on crime for crime, if we were to believe what they were supposed to have each party was supposed to have been found guilty of doing, opposed to Brittany. But Brittany's return is more meaningful to us as a nation because it just represents something else. She was there working to earn money. There's so many levels to this. Yeah. You understand why? Because we have an NBA system or a basketball system that is not equivalent in pay to woman and man. So there is no equity there. So to get equity, she went to a foreign land, then she gets arrested while working because it's considered a job. She was there working, and they were paying her more money than we would in our society. So those are the things that we have to clean up as a nation. Like why should U.S. citizens go abroad to make more money in a field that they can earn that potentially here?
Yeah,
So,
I can agree with that. So, but I do have a question though. So, I don't the international arms dealer was arrested, and brought back to America to face charges for terrorism. Attempted. It wasn't. He didn't do something. It was attempted, right? That is what they charged with, and he got 15 years. Is Russia looking at that as this is just a Russian citizen who was arrested by some Americans? He didn't actually do what they're saying he did because he didn't actually commit the act. And maybe they're viewing the overcharging of Brittany Griner or over punishment the same as this guy. Like, he didn't blow anything up. He was thinking about it, maybe. He was talking about it, maybe. But this is your justice system, not ours. So how do we know he got a fair shake? And maybe they're looking at that the same way, which is why they didn't give equity to the spy versus this guy who maybe is not even a government actor. And I should probably look his name up.
I could look at it from a different perspective, and I could say, or if he's that type of person and they were able to get back, because he still doesn't really have the freedom that Brittany Griner will appreciate when she returns, right? He probably is still enslaved in some kind of way to them. And if he potentially did engage in these acts, maybe they believe that there's a potential for him to wake up that industry again.
Yeah.
And because he was freed, right? Because this might not be like, we might see images of him being free, but it's about the same as Snowden sleeping in the airport there because he can't return back to the U.S. You understand what I'm saying? Like, we don't know what that freedom really looks like. So he's not in captivity. And he did serve a significant period of time to us, which was 11 years out of the 25. So, I mean, which is a significant period of time. It's almost half of the sentence.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I guess my interest in it started from the thought that
the moment they released her, that's when I got interested.
I mean, but not that. I mean, like, because even then I was just like, oh wow, she's home. Like I saw when you were live the other day. It was like breaking news on MSNBC, right? And I watched it, and that was the end of it for me. Like, okay, she's home. And then that's when the memes started coming out about how they're leaving this military veteran, this hero. He's an American hero. They left him, and they brought home this. Like the meme said, they exchanged a drug addict and left an American hero. And I was like, this fucking guy, who is he? You know what I'm saying? And then when I saw Black's video yesterday, he's basically repeating the same thing that I've seen in these memes. And I'm just like, well, this can't be true. It can't be true what they're saying about this guy. He's just, and you look it up and it's like, well, fuck. The first thing you find is that, well, he got kicked out the military. So he's not a hero. At least not as far as the military. Maybe he's a hero to the Russians that he was delivering his information to or from. Who knows? But,
the moment they released her, I became curious because I was like, this is just and there's other reasons why I became curious, because I think it just support my other arguments, like about the Cabo 6 right now, right? About the American policies and our, I'm going to use the word allegiance to our citizen, and holding our citizen accountable based on our understanding of things. So, you know, I from the moment that you did we text or talk? The moment you told me about her being released, I became curious about it became why, and everything around it was like the why for me.
Yeah, it's I guess my perspective on it is that I wish that it didn't have to be such a divisive thing. Like we could be happy that the American came home. We could be, and not play identity politics and say, oh well, it's because she's black or because she's gay, or it's because he's white that he got left, or because he's a man. It's like you get to say she's an American citizen and she could come home. She should be home, and now she's home. The same as I would feel about the Paul Whelan. If they brought him home, I would say he's an American citizen. He should be home. But I'm not going to try to apply.
The argument right now, though, should we be engaging in these kind of talks? Because what it says to me, the fear it sends out to me is that traveling abroad, you can be kidnapped basically on any kind of allegation, and held if we got something of value to someone else. So to me, it puts a what do you call it? A ransom on U.S. citizens' heads as they travel abroad. That's how I see it.
But Mo, in my opinion, that's always been the case. When I was in 1995, I lived in San Diego, California. I used to go to Tijuana every weekend, and when you were in Tijuana, you could get arrested for little to nothing. And the Mexican police would lock your ass up, put you in the bus, and then they would take you to the police station. And if you had enough cash, they wouldn't fucking process you. They'd let you leave. But if you didn't have enough money, when you got to the police station, you went to jail. And so I 100% believe that you could be arrested and stolen in a foreign land if you don't have enough money or resources to get your ass out for little to nothing. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
So this is my main man, IH. He says, this is how Joe Biden and the Democrats distract you from the real news. You guys are talking about Joe's moronic decision to trade a merchant of death for a WNBA anti-American pothead. Why aren't you guys talking about the recent release of the Twitter files?
What Twitter file?
Okay, IH, you type in the chat which part of the Twitter files was the criminal part that I should be focused on, and I'll talk about that. But until you tell me that part, I don't have nothing to talk about the Twitter files.
Well, what is the Twitter file? I've never heard of it.
So last weekend, they did Elon Musk released information to a writer who did a Twitter thread that explained that in the 2020 presidential election, the Joe Biden campaign and the Trump White House reached out to Twitter to stop certain stories from going out, to take certain information that was on the internet down. Joe Biden's this is the fact. Joe Biden campaign reached out to Twitter and said there are pictures of Hunter Biden's penis on Twitter.
Okay.
Can you take those down?
Okay, I think I understand.
Right.
I think I'm understanding.
And they told it in an elaborate way to make it seem like there was this huge conspiracy of stopping First Amendment rights and all kinds of stuff. And really, it was a terms of service takedown request because you can't put that up there. For the most part, that's what it was. But it also said that both of the parties, the White House and Joe Biden's campaign.
Well, you do know that during an election, there is a freeze on the media that a candidate could get. So let's go with
Hey Mo,
Ronald.
hey Mo, let me just say something real quick to IH. IH says Elon Musk exposed that Twitter, the Biden administration, and the FBI worked together to suppress conservatives. I would say that the Biden administration did not exist, so you don't know what you're talking about. Even though Elon Musk was working to expose something from Twitter, the Biden administration didn't exist for that thread that was released. So that you don't know what you read is the problem.
You're holding him to a very high standard.
Yes.
Okay.
Because he showed up talking about because he
that.
showed up talking about the Twitter files. We were talking about something else. But I like IH
Well, that's
because he likes to debate.
Well, it's not. Well, he's saying it's a distraction because you're about to you want to focus on why man got left behind, why they left a Marine behind. So in that vanity, you are now exploring the credibility of that statement. And you start off with, why did he leave a Marine behind? Oh, he was not a Marine, he was discharged. You understand? So
Yeah.
you start to pull back the misinformation contained in that outrage, and then folks want to tell you it's a distraction.
Yeah.
The bottom line is, the woman was moved, and the woman being the NBA lady, she was moved to the penal colony.
Mm-hmm.
And the longer that she kept getting moved through the Russian system, they thought that she may disappear. Now, if I had a personal privilege and preference of whom they should be negotiating for next, maybe they should be negotiating for the guy who ran against Putin, that Putin's people tried to kill.
Yeah.
Who went, like, you understand, who went to another, who was in some other place, and he got better, and then he returned to there to face jail, and who knows what is happening to him as we speak.
What happened to him? Yeah, Alexei Navalny, that was his name. Yeah, I wonder if he's still alive. I know he was real sick a couple years ago.
Well, you understand, and the people have taken to the streets. So if we want to talk about, we want to talk about that. If you ask me if something was a distraction, yes, distract this. Why we're not discussing what the heck was Nancy Pelosi doing over there in the Asian Peninsula, messing with those people that have now caused the rift between, or heightened the rift between, China and the U.S. So if you gave me those IHC, is that his name?
IH.
Well, IH, if you gave me some of those talking points as being distractions from what happened around here, I would take that as a better route to go in, because it's not really conservative speech, but it is things that you can definitely raise some questions as to why that occurred and the timing.
Hey, you know what? IH, what is the value that Republicans and Fox News and conservatives have applied to Twitter? Like, they've applied this value to Twitter as if the only way that messages could be expressed or told is through Twitter. That makes no sense to me. I have no understanding of this value that they've given to it. And to say, like, if I couldn't say what I had to say on Twitter, there's some type of election fraud going on, or some type of there was a suppression of the story because the story couldn't be validated. And even today, 4 years later, the story still is suspect. Okay, IH, I'm a block you, IH. Right? I talked about it last week, and you commented on the video last week, so I know you watched it. So it sounds like you just being a jackass today, but that's probably what you're doing, because that's, I know you're a Republican, even if no one else knows. But I don't block you.
Here's the thing about that Twitter, by them praising Twitter as if it's their high god. So to speak, even on this YouTube space, I've seen channels get taken out in other sectors, right? Mm-hmm. And their approach to going against YouTube is to hit the Twitter and demand that the channels be reinstated. And they have launched some highly effective campaigns and gotten channels restored that violated the community guidelines because they went to Twitter. So at best right now, it seems to be the only form of media for the conservative branch of American citizens where they congregate and are able to rally people, like-minded individuals.
But how did presidents win elections before there was Twitter? Like
well, because we had media, and we had different media before the these last go rounds, since the election that Hillary Clinton won. I'll go back to that election. So what is that, 2016?
Yeah, 16.
Okay, since 2016, we've all had to depend more on our social media as our source for balanced information, depending on which way you go for this, which seat you're on in the seesaw, if you're sitting in the down position or the up position. So we've, adopted that as our new way of communicating, because we can't trust. The one thing that conservatives and non-conservatives have in common is we can't trust authoritative news.
But the issue that existed from the 2016 election, which is what prompted what happened at the 2020 election, is that through social media you could create a discussion about something that wasn't real, and you could drive people to have a belief in something that's not real because they read it on social media. So there was a conscious effort by the government and social media companies to prevent that injection of fake information into the conversation to drive people towards something. Now, IH says that this laptop is unverified, right? And I don't know, like, this is the problem I have with people. Maybe I'm thinking on a different level, right? And I'm saying no one has said that the laptop and there is no laptop. Number one, there is no laptop. There's a hard drive.
You see how you argue with IH? It's at the same intensity that you have conversations with the guy from the West Coast.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that, like, he says to me something that's 100%
he sounds like the guy from the West Coast is basically what I'm saying to you.
That's where I found him at. I found him on Black's page. But you know what though? But IH, this is what I say about IH, right? IH doesn't agree with anything that I say. Nothing. And but he comments on all the videos, and because he wants to have an argument with me. So it doesn't matter what I say. He's against
because
it.
they find you you accommodate their need.
Yeah.
And people like this, people that behave like this, that's all they are seeking is attention, and you're giving him the attention he seeks.
So hey, let me say this fact real quick, Mo. The laptop that they're speaking about doesn't exist, right? Because it is a hard drive. The information on the hard drive has been verified. There is no one on earth at this point in time who's questioning whether the information on the laptop is actually Hunter Biden's. It is. The question that the people who questioned the story said, how did this blind guy, and I'm going to call him the eyewitness from now on, how did the eyewitness identify that Hunter Biden gave him this laptop when he can't see? Well,
you could call him the blind eyewitness.
This is the only witness to the story. This guy Hunter Biden walks into this blind guy's shop, and the blind guy is the eyewitness. It is ridiculous to me, right? So the reason why people question the story is because Rudy Giuliani had been looking for this laptop or the information on the laptop for years, because Hunter Biden said, I lost a laptop because I was fucking doing drugs and I didn't know what the hell was going on. So, but the fact that the information on the laptop is real doesn't mean that that someone didn't steal it and that Rudy Giuliani didn't buy it or pay for it or in some scrupulous way get it. But the story that they created to present it is probably not true, which is the reason why the news network said, that's a stupid story. We're not going to run with that. You have to do better than that, because the news can't, if they had hacked this computer, the news wouldn't put it out. You understand that, right, Mo? Like if Rudy Giuliani just hacked into Hunter Biden's laptop, the news wouldn't put out the information they found on the laptop. They would say, you stole that information. We can't put that out. But in the story that the Republicans have created, this guy...
news wouldn't have put it out? Because conservative news might have.
Conservative news ran with the story because the conservative news is running with the story that they made up, that Hunter Biden was high on crack And one night he went to a computer repair shop before it closed, and he gave them a computer. And then he left and never came back. And now the guy who has the computer owns the computer because Hunter Biden abandoned it. That's why they can put the information out, because Mac owns the computer now because Hunter Biden abandoned it. But how do we even know Hunter Biden gave him the laptop? The guy who's the witness is blind. He didn't see who gave him a laptop, if we're even to believe that even happened. So IH wants to argue whether the stuff on the laptop is Hunter Biden's. It is Hunter Biden's. But how did they get it? They probably stole it or hacked it, or some spy got it, or he left it somewhere and somebody kept it. But it wasn't.
So what I'm hearing you say is that the chain of custody for the laptop is questionable.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And now IH wants to tell me that he isn't blind, but I can play a video for you right now where the guy says I am blind. I played it last week. If you watched the video, you commented on the video IH that I did last week. And in the video last week, the guy, they asked him, he's doing an interview with, I can't remember who he's doing an interview with, right? He's sitting right next to a guy. And the guy says, well, they say you're legally blind. What can you see? He's like, well, I can tell you're a white guy with a blue suit on. That's fucking blind. He doesn't know who he's talking to. He can't identify a face. He says he can read 4 to 6 inches from his face. He can't see. He can't see. So it's not a debate. It's not, I mean, I would say they would have to show me more about how this guy got this laptop. And they should be very easy to show that. Very easy. He could just show us the old computer. He could show us that old computer, and then know what we can do with that old computer? We can look at the serial number on that computer, and we know exactly where that computer came from.
Okay, but why is this important?
It's not.
I'm asking because I don't know.
It's not important. IH is just distracting me.
He's distracting you from the I Spy guy who can't get out of jail in Russia yet.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, the I Spy guy in Russia, he was able to make a phone call out and speak to people yesterday to express how he felt. So he can't be in too bad of a
I didn't want to say that, right? But I saw on one of the clips, it said Paul Whelan says. And I was like, how the fuck they talking to him?
Yeah, I told you I didn't go down the rabbit hole, but I definitely just opened the lid to the,
Listen,
bowl.
Everything I have open up on my screen right now is from 2019 because I had no interest in what happened to this guy yesterday. I was only focused on the fact that his family started off lying about who he was and why he was there, in my opinion, and that he didn't tell them who the person was that gave him the files. Because if I was the person, if it were me, in that position, I would have said, listen, this guy, I met him online. I met him wherever. He gave me this thumb drive, and the thumb drive has shit on it. You know what I mean?
But you do understand, right? Just from I know you're a military person. So you have a greater appreciation than us lay people have for people that served, right? What were the dates of his service? Because I want to know if he was in, well, most everybody's been in wartime right about now.
Yeah.
Ever since 1990, everybody.
He was in Iraq. He got called up to active duty because he was a reservist. He wasn't a active duty member. He was a reservist who got called up to active duty. And he was in Iraq. I believe it says like 2001 to 5 or something like that.
Yeah, because family's the one making the claims, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even when a person is dishonorably discharged, right? Because I have family members that, I don't know, I guess they went crazy or something, so they've been dishonorably discharged, right? But when I sit at the table and people speak on them, they always like, oh, and so-and-so was a Marine. In my head, I was like, but he was discharged. But to their defense, they still feel like it's an honorable person because they served. Like they went there, they did something that you didn't do,
correct,
or what have you. So it's kind of.
I mean, my brother served, right? My brother was in the Army, and he was in Korea for 2 years. He joined a year before me, or actually, maybe 6 months before me, right? And when I was in San Diego, he came home, which would, he would have had 2 more years to do. But he came home. He was like, yep, I'm done. And I was like, I didn't ask him, like, why you coming home early? He was just like, oh, you finished? All right, whatever. And so he didn't go home. But I'm pretty certain something happened. He didn't tell me, but something happened. So I can understand what you're saying, that the family may not know. But what his brother says is that he retired, which is totally different. You got to do 20-something years to retire, and he did not do that.
Well, I think the retirement part is just is a stretch.
Yeah.
But I know, because I think I know somebody, or maybe I heard something on the internet where a person from the internet where a person didn't finish out his time and he was called back in. I think maybe it's somebody who's involved in a crime that I'm watching, that I'm currently got a case on them, and they actually served but got court-martialed because they went AWOL or something. So
yeah.
But at the end of the day, he's still there. He's a U.S. citizen, and they endeavor to continue to negotiate to find a way forward for him to come home. So it doesn't seem like it's hopeless. And the only thing it sounds like that these negotiations began under Trump's under 45's administration, since I'm gonna use that word, since people don't know the difference between a campaign, Biden's campain, and Biden's administration. So,
IH showed up as soon as we started talking about that, because I really did want to talk about how there were conservatives are blaming Joe Biden and they did nothing. Or maybe they did do something. They realized they couldn't to get this guy home when Trump was president. He's a Trump supporter.
I think they should spend some time worrying about how Trump pardoned all the people he pardoned, and let's get on some stuff like that and talk about stuff like that. Because I mean, we could have spent a lifetime going through all the people he pardoned, and what kind of money, where the money went for all of those pardons.
I took Kate to the doctor.
Yeah. I can't wait till those investigations get started. I can't, because those are going to be very interesting.
I don't think no one is. I don't think those are on the radar. But there were some prestigious pardons that took place under his reign. IH, if you want to go look that up, we can have a discussion about that any day of the week. And how much was a pardon worth? If we want to talk about how we getting people out of jail free.
Hey, listen. Hey, Mo, I'm gonna play something real quick, right?
Go ahead.
So, I just gotta find the part. So this is why I'm not gonna argue with, like, only reason why I watched this video last week is 40-something minutes long. I watched the whole thing because somebody told me that it contained things that it didn't contain. And I didn't want to miss it. So I watched this whole thing, and it doesn't contain the stuff that they said it has. It doesn't. It does not show this guy says that he saw Hunter Biden, recognized Hunter Biden, knew it was Hunter Biden. The only reason why he knows it's Hunter Biden because he's talking to a person who says their name is Hunter Biden, and he wrote it down, right? That's the only way he knows who he's talking to, because the person who he's talking to says the name Hunter Biden. If I'm going to believe this guy's story, but he's blind. Hold on a second.
That from happening, I'll tell you that. I can understand, especially when hard to help. I just think it's trying to get into this building like that, because it kind of told me.
I'm just finding the part where
I'm visually impaired.
Here we go. I'm just finding the part where the guy says he can't see shit.
I walk like, all right, this guy's all over the map. December of 2019. So how could it be easily? That's when exactly what I wanted. Can I just want this out of my interaction and. That's all my father wanted. 19. My father.
Where is this interview coming from?
Oh, this is coming from Fox News. He's on the Will Cain show.
Okay.
Right. So it doesn't have a transcript, so I can just find it real quick from the transcript. So, but what happens in the video, right, is that the guy asked him, like, directly, like, what can you see? Right? Can you see the guy on the screen? Will Cain, the guy with the blue suit. He says, I can see you're a white dude with a blue tie. They're sitting directly across from each other, right? This is what he can see of the guy who he's sitting across from. You're a white dude with a blue tie. So he can't see who he's talking to. He can't picture his face. And he says he doesn't know Hunter Biden. So he wouldn't recognize Hunter Biden from walking through it, right? He wouldn't recognize him from walking through it. He would only know that he was Hunter Biden because in the video, the guy says he said his name was Hunter Biden. But what you can do is you can watch the video for yourself. This is the name of the video is The Man Who Found a Laptop from Hell. You can go watch the video for yourself and you can listen to what he said. But I had it queued up last week because I played it last week in my video, but I don't have it queued up this week. So that's the problem that I have right now is I can't find it.
Well, you can link last week's video and people could go back.
I just watched last week's video because he commented on it.
That's what I mean. He watched it in its entirety.
That's right. He probably he watched it because he just wants to fuck with me. But look, listen. The Trump administration did not bring that man home. Donald Trump was president, and they thought in one of these articles I read today, it said they thought that the relationship with Trump and Putin, they would be able to work out a deal to get this guy home quickly. But that didn't happen. It didn't happen at all. The guy's still there. So Trump wasn't able to strong arm Putin into doing it. He wasn't able to squeeze his hand into doing it. He wasn't able to be tough and make him do it. That guy's still over there. So whatever Trump is projecting as his strength didn't work because he didn't get to come home. And now the Republicans are saying that wait, hold on a second. Now they're saying that Joe Biden is weak because Joe Biden exchanged the basketball player for the arms dealer. But Trump wasn't strong enough to get him home either. They both would have been sitting over there up to Trump.
Do we have any evidence that Trump even negotiated for this guy who got arrested on his watch?
No. No, there is no evidence.
All right,
that
that's point one.
But yeah,
that's point one. Did he even negotiate for this guy? And why is this guy now? Like, if this happened during his administration, what efforts, if anything, did Trump engage in during that time?
Well, I would say that there's no evidence that he did. Well, no, that's not true. The Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, did go over there and meet with that guy. But after the meeting, Mike Pompeo was like, the guy probably shouldn't be there, but he had the stuff on him. So I don't know what the fuck. He had it on him. So unless he can prove...
He's a higher risk. I think he's just a higher risk.
Yeah. I mean, it could just be that he didn't know what he was getting into. It could be that, they set him up and that he walked into somewhere and someone gave him something and he didn't know what it was. And he's not a spy at all. That could totally be the case. Or he could be a spy.
Actually, he could be just as dangerous to us out.
Yeah.
Because he has the potential of going either way. These are
But yeah, but I found it to be interesting only because, like everything in our society, it has to be one way or the other, and it can't be two ways. Like it totally can be more than one way in looking at this story. And it doesn't have to be that it's wrong for Brittany Griner to come home or right for that guy to stay. They both should be home, in my opinion. But they didn't have the power to get them both home, so they got one of them home. You know what I'm saying? And I don't like the idea that they're creating a narrative to make it seem as if one deserved to be home more than the other. And then, of course, the coup d'etat is that the Republicans have to throw in the race thing, in this instance,
I don't know why we're negotiating in the first place to bring anybody home.
You leave them over there, let their ass stay.
Well, I'm not. I just want to know. Again, I just reinstate what I said earlier. Yeah. I feel it just makes it dangerous to be a citizen because you could then be kidnapped. But then there was 52 American hostages that were kidnapped and held until Reagan took office because they certainly wouldn't release them during Jimmy Carter's days. And they were called hostages. Mm-hmm. So it is a negotiating point for people who disagree with our with the U.S. People who disagree with the U.S. So it is what it is. And we know that Reagan negotiated when he wasn't in administration yet. He was just, transferring over power, that he was in active negotiations bringing them home. And people elected him because they were hopeful that he would. And they gave Jimmy Carter the same weak appearance that they're putting as a narrative towards Biden.
No way.
The problem with Biden right now is that he could have been so much more if he was younger.
Oh, listen to this. I'm sorry, go ahead. You said
no, that's it. Just,
no, someone in the chat, Larry Love, says she was caught with weed on more than one occasion in Russia. Now, I hadn't heard that. But that's interesting. If that maybe she's had multiple chances to escape the troubles of drug use.
It's a blatant disrespect. Listen, for me, Monica Mo Justice, I would have let her ass stay there for the whole entire time, personally, and that's how I've always felt on it, and it had nothing to do with her being a black woman, an NBA woman, or being LTGB, whatever the letters are, affiliated. It had to do with going somewhere and disrespecting the policies at play.
All right, so this is a whole. I have my video from last week queued up. I'm gonna play real quick, right? So IH asked an interesting question. He says, the press secretary says the choice was for either one American to come home or no American comes home. Yet, why do we have to trade anyone whatsoever? Why were we so eager to give Russia a murderer?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they made sound arguments, or coming from that perspective, I would respect it more than worrying about the one that got traded.
Yeah, I mean, and
because
go ahead. I'm sorry.
The guy appears to be a problem, but you know what? I'm surprised at these folks that think that because we took vaccines and stuff, we got chips in us, and now I'm just surprised that they're not going on a theory that we let the guy go because we chipped him, and we're gonna know exactly what he did. So
shit, how old is he now, though? Is that even a thing for him now? You know what I'm saying? He's probably old as hell by now. He's been in jail for like 15 years or 10 years, some shit.
He didn't look that old when I just saw pictures, unless that's when he got arrested, but they look like they paraded him on the, he looks young. He didn't look all
He's 55. He's 55 years
old. He's young.
55.
He's got a whole 55 plus years ahead of him.
He's got a whole life ahead of him. He can get right back into the business. He can.
He can, and he probably will, and then they'll probably get more.
Yeah, he was arrested in 2008, so he's been in jail for 14 years. He's been in jail for 14 years. So I mean, there's that. But I don't. The question is, why was Biden so eager to give Russian a merchant of death? That is a question that I don't know. But I would imagine that unless you believe that Joe Biden had Brittany Griner get arrested so they can exchange the two, that he only did it because he was trying to bring Brittany Griner home, and not that he was like, we want to get this guy out of America. Like it's a
fair question, right. Glenn.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying but was Biden eager to give him back? I don't think Biden was eager to. I think that was the bargaining chip that he had. Like to say it is to say that Biden had some kind of control over Brittany Griner getting caught so they can do the exchange. Like, I'm sure Biden would have rather just kept the guy.
That's not what that person is. That's not what that person is alluding to. It's not that. It's very simple. Why were they willing to give up this man at this time?
But they weren't eager. I mean, how long has she been in jail? I mean, how long has she been over there? Like, is it almost a year that she's been there?
10 months, right?
Yeah,
About 10 months.
So, I mean, it wasn't.
She
wasn't
she
running
got
to get her home.
arrested at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, they wasn't rushing to get her back. Russian. Funny. Hey, let's do this real quick, Mom.
I'm curious to hear about the blonde guy since you queued it up.
spending time or staying late with anybody. And
hey, this is from last week.
Countertop illuminated as the headlights of a car pulled up in front of
his mother. So when I heard that last week, I was like, this guy is like, he sounded like he's reading a script as he's describing.
Oh, we didn't hear it. Oh, I didn't hear it. Okay. I'm okay because I might be because of the StreamYard. Just forget it. I'll play it back to this point.
Oh, here, hold on a second.
And
can you hear that, Mo?
No, I think it's because I'm on the StreamYard. So don't worry about it.
About spending time or staying late
I don't know.
With anybody.
We're gonna figure that out, Mo. Why is the sound not going through the StreamYard? Oh.
No, but don't keep playing their stuff.
Yeah. No, let's see. I just want to play this one part here. You know what her body look like. Here. I'm still not gonna find it. This is your guy? Oh, here, go here. It didn't work. They weren't able to get the...
Realized there was a considerable amount of...
Entitled to his...
You got the story makes no sense. Yeah. It's too much me talking in there. Because I only played a little bit of it. He only played like 5 seconds of it last week. Because he didn't say very much other than he can't see. But last week I had
what's
I had
the time stamp on that from last week?
So I started talking about this guy like the 1 hour and 14-minute mark. And I only talked about him for like... Good. I only talk about it for like 15 minutes. But if you play that whole part, if you listen to that 15 minutes, you'll hear that, you know, saying me talking about what he said. I just can't find the part where he said it. But you can't hear it though, so that's why it's kind of, you know, I got to figure that part out. I got to figure out how to get my audio, the feed into StreamYard so you can hear it.
Did you turn on the StreamYard mics and stuff over in the StreamYard program?
Yeah. So we're talking through StreamYards, but I have the noise cancellation.
You're right. We are talking through StreamYard.
I have the cancellation off, which keeps the echo away. So I have to get another source to play it so you can hear it. So it needs to come through my mic, not through the StreamYard.
Correct.
So that's how I got to fix that. Because right now you're hearing it. You're hearing it through. If you could hear it through my mic, you could hear it, but it's
yeah, but you don't have an out speaker. Your out source is your headset.
Yeah. No, I have to. What I got to do is separate it.
Correct.
It from
We're getting so technical with this stuff. Yeah. Shout out to Michael Fiver.
I know, man. That's my guy right there, man. That's my guy.
I think he educated me so much on this stuff.
That's the guy.
I feel like a G. You know what I want to get now?
What's that?
I just went into something else. No, I want to get a camera. I want to get a real damn camera.
You know, I was looking at a camera. I was looking at one this year too.
I think that's my I'm either gonna have a Sony or a Canon next year, but I'm getting a camera.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I feel like that's the next level to being here. Like I can't be on here with a whatever this.
Yeah.
I think I need the camera. You should see my editing skills. I can't wait to drop the videos. I'm up in here like.
Yeah, I'm working on a new intro right now. See, and that's the problem I got. Like with the camera that I got a with my Logitech webcam. I mean, it works fine, but it's the only cam I have that works with my green screen to where there's no background. And I got to wear a black shirt. So if I wear any other color shirt, you can see the background. Mm-hmm. It doesn't look good, and I can't make. So if I got a better camera, then I can make that part work better to where I can have more flexibility in my outfit.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same. I'm feeling the same way about the whole black thing. Yeah, so yeah. Oh, we on the same level, but I think we're entering, and you already entered year 6, so it's like it's that 6-year itch. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, but you know, I wasn't even planning on going live today. I just kind of like read the article, and I was like, I could call somebody right now and argue with them for 15 minutes or 20 minutes. Which would have been Black Rosebud probably. Or I could just go live and talk about it and get my point out. Because I just want to talk about my part. I didn't really care what he thought. But that's the fair part, right? When you talk to somebody, you got to kind of give them their ability to state their opinion. But I just wanted to say mine.
Yeah, but see, this is why I feel like conversation is consequential.
Yeah.
Because when you do hear the other person's side, if you're listening, of the argument, and if they can construct it in a way where they can get their independent thought out, it's engaging because it creates a platform of critical thinking.
It should.
It's a stimuli. Like, like some people will say, such and such and such is, it's arousal for people that are thinking beings. But people that are regurgitators, it's just, conversation. It's chit chat.
IH. Let me ask you, because IH says in the chat, right? And the most important part of this whole show has been, what are the Twitter files? Because it shows that the mainstream media doesn't want the public to really know how much their rights are perverted by big tech. And the question would be, which right is big tech breaking of yours by not allowing you to say shit on their social media site? Which right of yours was violated? Don't say First Amendment. Think of another one. Like that's the most frustrating part to me, that people don't know what their rights are. They don't know what the First Amendment right is. So they say,
I don't even know what that's a whole bunch of so IH, you just spoke a whole bunch of words. You just typed a whole bunch of words that collectively mean nothing, because one, the video wasn't focused on what you came in here trying to focus it on. And what's the longevity of Twitter once it got sold to the guy that got it now?
So I8 says, when I asked what are the Twitter files, that's proof that that anything other than right wing media isn't talking about what they've done. No, I wasn't talking about the Twitter files. So when you show up and say, why are you not talking about the Twitter files? The question for me, if someone says, hey, why are you not talking about this? I say, well, what is that to you? Not what is it to
exactly
me?
What
because to me, it wasn't the topic we're talking about, because I was talking about Brittany Griner. So when you show up, right, uninvited, you know what I'm saying? You just showed up on your own. And then you say, why are you not talking about what I want you to talk about? Well, then the question is, why do you think I should talk about that? Now, you got to provide me with something compelling. All you've done is provide me with something that's argumentative, right? So I'm arguing against what you're saying because I think you're wrong. But I'm not talking about it because it's not interesting to me. I talked about it last week. It's not interesting to me. It's not. So, I mean, I guess you can make it be more compelling to me, but I'm not going to argue about whether it's Hunter Biden's penis in the pictures. It is. It's his face. Right? I got it.
There are so many more defining things going on in history right now, in our day-to-day, other than something called Twitter files that I knew nothing about until 45 minutes ago. Because I didn't know, and I'm not prone to be, I can't watch these regular platforms. I can't watch MSNBC and all those other people. I don't. So it couldn't have been that compelling.
And you know what, Mo? I don't typically watch the news, right? Like I typically don't watch the news. I read the news. So because if I read the news, right, I'm already in the medium where I can say, this person says that this is what happened. And then I can copy, paste, Google, search, more research, find the answer, confirm that what they said is what I saw, right? Like, like that's how I consume the news. I don't typically listen to someone tell me something, right? So,
print media is subject to libel faster than verbal media. So
yeah, like I just like so for me to consume, like I watched a little bit of the Twitter files last week because I just happened to be on Twitter last week, which I'm typically not, because I don't prefer to receive my news at 120 characters at a time. So that's not a good medium for me to read information. So I prefer to go to Drudge Report, Yahoo, places where people are posting.
And you don't do editorials as much either.
Right. So and then because I don't really care for someone's opinion, right? I just want to know what happened. So if I read what's happened, then I can talk about what happened versus someone's opinion of what happened. IH wants me to believe that the Twitter files is the most dangerous thing that happened in our society, but I read the Twitter files and I didn't feel that way. So you have to convince me that that's what it is, but you can't, because I read it and I don't believe it's that. So, like, you know, I mean, that's just my opinion about it. It wasn't that I read it and said, this is fucking. I went and looked at the conservatives and I said, did the conservatives.
Let me get out of here.
Oh, all
but
right, Mo.
you know, but I'll check you later.
Hey, thanks for jumping up, Mo. I'm about to get out of here too. I was only supposed to do 1 hour. Much longer than that. All right, thanks for coming up, Mo. That was Monica Mo Justice. Subscribe to her channel. Hey, look, IH. Number 10 of the Twitter files said that the Trump White House reached out to Twitter to remove stuff from Twitter as well. If you talk about item number 10 from the Twitter files, then we could talk about some of the other numbers. Right? That's the only. I only want to talk about 10. If you want to talk about 10, we can talk about 10. Otherwise, I don't want to talk about none of them. The last thing I'm gonna talk about, right, before I get out of here, is issues should not be split. Some issues should not be split conservative liberal, in my opinion. I believe that we should be able to, and there's a StreamYard link. If anyone wants to come up, there's a StreamYard link pinned to the top. Hit the link. Come up and talk to me. If you got an opinion, you can express it. Some of these issues that become a conservative liberal problem is it confirms that we are sheep. It confirms that we are sheep. Listen, the smartest, richest man in the world thinks you should know about it too. Why do I care what Elon Musk thinks? Honestly, Elon Musk is a salesman. He sells you fucking advertising on Twitter. He sells you cars. He's selling the American government rocket ships. I don't need him to determine what's important for me. I know how to read, right? I have understanding, right? I know how to read and I have understanding. So I use my ability to read to develop my understanding. I don't need Elon Musk to translate it for me. And that's the biggest problem I think that a lot of people have, is that they're sheep. People are sheep. And they're too stupid to realize that they're sheep. And that's the reason why you can go to a Trump rally and Trump says stuff and the people repeat after him. Or Trump says stuff and the neighbors say stuff. That's stupid to me. That's stupid to me. Anyone who does that, I would say, is probably not a person that's very intelligent. I don't do call and response. Call and response is stupid. You can't tell me that something's bad and it's bad just because you say it is. Elon Musk thinks it's bad because Elon Musk wants the Republicans to be in power. Elon Musk wants the Republicans to be in power because the Republicans are going to give tax cuts to billionaires. Now, you may not realize that, right? Because maybe you're not smart enough to understand that that's what the problem is. For me, that everything Elon Musk is doing is self-serving, because in the end, he's going to create a society where he gets more tax cuts to where he can extract more money from the system. Now, we can debate on what the tax code should be, but I'm not going to say, well, Elon Musk is right because he's rich and he's smart. That's stupid. He's rich and he's smart and he wants to get the tax code to where he can make more money. You can say that he's rich and smart so he deserves more money, but I don't believe that's the case. I believe he should pay his fair share of taxes the same way I do. The same way Donald Trump says, I can't believe my company was found guilty for some fringe benefits. I receive the same fringe benefits and I pay taxes on mine. So why should he not pay taxes on his? Is it because he's so rich that he shouldn't? Because I get a car benefit and I pay taxes on it. So that's not, I would say he deserves to go to fucking, his CFO deserves to go to jail, and that the company deserves to be punished for the crime they've committed, because if I don't pay my taxes on my fringe benefit, they're going to come back and ask me for money and they're going to sue me and I'll go to jail if I don't pay. That's the problem, is that people like you and other conservatives are convinced that they have principles when they have none, and that when the things don't go their way, they'll say, oh, well, that's just the way it is. Of course, it's stupid to pay taxes. It's stupid that they're doing this to us. It's stupid that there's all these regulations. And then on the same token, we'll apply those regulations and laws, and we're the party of law and order when it's on them. When it's on, you know what I'm saying? I posted this week on Twitter about the politician who has a gay son, that he attended his gay son's wedding and he spoke at his gay son's wedding, and he gave a beautiful speech about how love is love, and he's got a new son and all this other shit. And then a month later, he votes against gay marriage. And you say, well, how the fuck can you vote against gay marriage when you supported your son in his gay marriage? And his response is that I have principles. You have no principles. You have no principles. If you believe that gay marriage should not be legal, then you shouldn't support your son who's having a gay marriage. You shouldn't. You should say, no, I don't believe in that. That's against my religious belief. That's against my whatever the fuck belief. Now, in my personal opinion, I would say they should be allowed to be married. Who cares? How does that bother you? Who cares? Give them the rights that everyone else has. If it's the right of next of kin, if it's the right of being able to get to share benefits and to use the tax code the way that everyone else gets to use the tax code when they decide to put their fucking shit together, what the hell is the problem with that? But this guy who believes it's okay for his son, who loves his son, also says in the same principles that you shouldn't be able to do it. That that's the law and order of the conservative party. That's the way they want the rules enforced. The way that IH can say, I say to IH, number 10. Number 10 says that they both did it. Number 10 says they both did it. And he says, but number 11 says the Democrats did it more. Doesn't matter who did it more. They both did it. They both did it. So don't say the Democrats are doing it. They both fucking do it. It's stupid of you to fall for the trick. I'm not out here supporting the Democrats. I'm only saying that the Republicans are stupid. Those are two different things. Those are two different things. I don't support the Democrats. I'm against the Republicans. Because I think you guys are stupid. I think a lot of shit y'all say is stupid. I think a lot of shit you say don't make any sense. People like you think you are morally superior as that you can squash the things you think are stupid, but that's not how America works. I'm not squashing anything. I'm not squashing anything. All I'm saying is that if you read the Twitter files, show me where the crime is. As soon as you show me where the crime is, we'll start from there. Go find the crime and bring it to me. Say, look, number whatever the fuck is the crime. That's the crime. And then we'll start there. But there is no crime in the Twitter files, which is why no one's been arrested yet. They've had Hunter Biden's laptop since 2018. No one's been arrested yet, which means there's no crime on there. The damn Republicans have been trying to inject this story into the main conversation about Joe Biden's election because they thought it would hurt Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's laptop. But they couldn't. They couldn't get the story out there. And they tried. They really, really tried. And the New York Post, which is a wing of the Republican Party. Like Fox News and the New York Post are wings of the Republican Party. They only report negative news about the Democrats. And if it's a negative story about the Republicans, they pull it back, they reduce it, they say, oh, this isn't really that bad, or they just push it to the side the same way you're saying the mainstream media does with this Hunter Biden laptop story. They do the exact same thing. But it's not, that part isn't important to me. It's really not, because I'm not swayed by that. If the Republicans could prove that Hunter Biden's laptop had information on it that said that Joe Biden, because Hunter Biden's not running for president, it was Joe Biden, that Joe Biden has committed crimes, that Joe Biden is selling government secrets, that Joe Biden is trading access for money, then I would say Joe Biden should not be president. The problem is that the Republicans have never, in the 2 years that we've known about Hunter Biden's laptop, shown that that is the case. And when someone asked me about it last week, I said, well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens when they do their investigations and they present the information that will show that on the laptop, there's information that says that Joe Biden did something wrong. And if Hunter Biden did something wrong, who cares? He's not president. Who's Hunter Biden? Who cares? Right? So you think Hunter Biden's important because they've told you he's important. He's not important to me. I don't care. No more than Donald Trump Jr. is important, or Eric Trump, or any of the other fucking Trumps. Who cares? If they did something wrong, they should go to jail. Right? And that's the end of it for me. I don't care. You care. So you should focus on that. Right? You should focus on Hunter Biden's laptop because they're telling you that you should. We'll see what happens. It is stupid of you not to think that all these issues wasn't Democrats putting their finger on the scale and getting the retard voted in. All right, let me ask you a question. No, I don't have to ask you a question because I know the answer already. You believe that the election was stolen. You believe that they flipped votes somehow, that they stuffed ballots somehow, that there was 2,000 mules riding around ballot boxes, stuffing them, voting 10, 15, 20 times. You believe that there's computers in Russia and there's computers in Germany that are attacking the servers. You believe all this stuff. So why would you focus on whether they could put a story in Twitter when you already believe that no matter what happened, they were going to fix the vote by physically changing the output? Think about that, IH. Think about how stupid it sounds that people like Donald Trump tell people like you that if he could have just told Twitter that Hunter Biden has penis pics on his computer, that more people would have voted for him than you, when at the same time saying that it doesn't matter that you voted, the computers are flipping the votes, that there's 2,000 mules riding around on ballot boxes, stuffing them 15, 20 times in a row. Think about how stupid that sounds. It wouldn't matter if the story was on Twitter if they're using other means to change the vote physically. Think about how stupid that sounds, right? That people like you repeat the dumb shit that he says. They're stuffing the ballot boxes. Then you shouldn't vote. If they're going to stuff the ballot boxes, you shouldn't vote. If there's machines that flip the vote, you shouldn't vote, right? So it doesn't matter what the results are, is what I'm saying to you, IH, to be as simple as possible. It doesn't matter what you do. They're going to change the votes in the machines, is what you're saying, is what Trump said. So it doesn't matter if the story comes out on Twitter. You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if the Republicans are motivated because they believe that Joe Biden is a Chinese prop. The Chinese servers and the German servers are going to flop the votes anyway, so it doesn't matter. He's going to win. This is what you guys are saying. And now you're saying that we could have just got our message out on Twitter, Donald Trump would have won. You sound fucking stupid. That's all I can say. You sound stupid. You should read the book Animal Farm. There's a character in there. They're the sheep. All they do is repeat what they're told. And they're told to say stupid shit. And what they're told to say keeps changing. Read the book Animal Farm and realize that you are the sheep in the book Animal Farm. In the book Animal Farm, they had commandments, right? And they wrote the commandments on the wall. But none of the fucking sheep can read. No one can read. No one can read in the book Animal Farm. None of the animals can read. This is an allegory about society. In the book, the animals can't read. Only a couple of them can read. The pigs can read, and the pigs are manipulators and they're propagandists. They change what the words on the wall mean, which changes the rules and the laws. When they change the words on the wall, the animals are too stupid to realize that the words are different. They just repeat whatever the new words are. So, oh, that's what we say now? Okay. Read the book Animal Farm and think of yourself in this story. Which person are you? Are you the person who realizes that, oh shit, there's a trick? Or are you the person who's getting tricked? Half of the animals in the story are getting tricked. The other half are getting taken advantage of. There's only one character in the story that knows what the fuck is going on and has realized there's nothing I can do to stop it. The fucking donkey. The donkey says, I can't stop what's happening. I can't stop it. They're too stupid, and this is what always happens. It happens. I've been here a long time. This is what always happens. That's the character I think I am in the story. I realize what the fuck is going on. I'm not going to debate with these fuckers over here. And I can't convince these people over here because even when I tell them the truth, they don't understand. Even when I tell them the truth, they don't understand. He says, I sound stupid, like you have your head up your rectum and all you do is keep eating your own BS. All right. So I'm going to say it real slow. I'm going to say it real slow in step-by-step form, IH, right? Because I'm arguing with you right now at this point. If the election is rigged to where the Democrats are going to win no matter what happens, right? Which is what the Republicans said. The Republicans said if they're flipping votes, there's 2,000 mules, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, on the conspiracy theories. The Republicans say this. It doesn't matter what anyone does then. It doesn't matter what anyone does. It doesn't matter what the news stories say. It doesn't matter what anything that happens. If the machines and the computers and the mules and everything else is going to cause the Republicans to lose. Because if that's not the case, then you have to say, well, then it's a fair election, right? Which the Republicans are not saying. The Republicans are saying the election was rigged. The Republicans are saying the election was rigged. So now that the election is over, the Republicans have lost, and for 2 years they said it was rigged, and there's machines, and there's mules, and there's this, and there's that. Elon Musk buys Twitter, and he puts out a Twitter thread that says that the Trump campaign, or the Biden campaign, and the Trump White House reached out to Twitter and said, can you suppress some stories? Can you take some stories down? They both did it. You latch on to the fact that the Democrats did it and say that's the reason why Trump lost the election, because he couldn't get the stories out on Twitter. But if the election was already rigged to where they were going to flip the votes, they got 2,000 mules, they got all these things that are happening, the Republicans can't win no matter what they do. Now, if you don't agree with that, then you have to say the election was not rigged. It was a fair election, which was it a fair election? Just type in the chat. Was it a fair election? Do you believe that it was a fair election, that Donald Trump had a chance to win? Because I believe it was a fair election. I believe Donald Trump lost because he's a loser. I think Donald Trump lost because he's a loser. He lost the election because he can't convince normal people to agree with him. There was a massive election reform following the 2020 election. Democrats called this voter suppression. I have no idea what you're talking about. This is one of the problems with talking to the chat, is that I find myself in a rabbit hole of talking about something that has nothing to do with nothing, right? Like if the question is simple. Was the 2020 election fair? Because if it wasn't fair, then it doesn't matter what happened on Twitter. That's what I'm saying. If you can't understand that, then we can't even have a discussion much further than this about it. The election was fair. Mrs. G says, I believe it was fair. The election was fair. They haven't proven. Every time I hear about somebody cheating, it's a Republican. Every time I hear about somebody cheating, it's a Republican. There was one lady in Texas who was helping old people vote, and she was arrested. She was arrested because she was helping Democrats vote and she wasn't helping Republicans. And that's not right. That's not right. You avoid the fact that it was reported there was massive imbalance as to the enforcement of Twitter policies. So when you say in number 10, it says that they both did it, and then number 11 says Democrats did it more. Does that mean that if number 10, if what you're saying is that in asking Twitter to take down stories is a violation of your First Amendment rights, isn't that the same for when Trump asked them to do it? Isn't that the same when the Trump White House? Now think about this. The Trump White House is the government. The Biden administration is not the government. The Biden administration or the Biden campaign asked them to take down files. The Trump White House asked them to take down files. That's the government regulating speech, right? The government regulated the speech. So, but that's not, you know what? It's too far down a rabbit hole for me, because it doesn't change anything, right? Trump lost, and there's no way you can make him be right. There's no way he could be reinstated. I hope that you get what you want out of Trump. I really do. But I'm certain that Trump is getting what he needs out of you, which is money, or your support, which gets other people to give money. Because that's all Trump wants out of you people is money. He's ripping you guys off since the beginning. I don't know why you guys don't understand it. Every time he shows you what he's doing and he tells you what he's doing, you guys just step right over that, step right around that, step right past that. 90%, 90% of the money donated to other candidates that he supported went to him. 90%. Unless you went in there and said, no, I want this money to go all the way to Herschel Walker, 90% of it goes to Trump. And it was that way for everybody. They had to pay this fucker a fee, hundreds of thousands of dollars to show up so he can give a 2-hour speech about himself. And at the end, he would say, hey, donate to the guy whose name is down below. And 90% of the money goes to Trump. And he's not running the scam. And then he declares that he's running for election because he wants to avoid prosecution. He thought it would help, but it's not helping. It's not helping, right? So now he's yelling, hey, this is a witch hunt. They're going against me for because I'm running for president. No, they're not. They've been investigating you all this time, and he can't stop it. He's been stealing. He's been stealing and living off of your donations for many years now. And he doesn't have any intention on stopping. He's enjoying the life that he has living off of you. But you know what? You guys believe that he deserves it because he's rich. Because he's rich, he deserves it. But you know what? It'll be interesting to see what happens if he actually does face criminal charges. Like, I think it's coming. I don't have any evidence that says, I don't have an inside scoop on it, but it just seems like the what's happening in Mar-a-Lago is too much for even the government to say, listen, we can't not charge this guy. He's going to have to get some type of punishment here. Something's going to have to happen. They just found some more documents in the damn storage unit somewhere in fucking Florida, which I don't understand why he has so much stuff just randomly scattered around all over the damn place. But you know what? This is all Trump's fault, because none of this would have happened if he would have just turned the shit in. He could have easily worked with the government and just gave him the shit back. He believes he's above the law. You believe he's above the law. You believe he's above the law, so you support it. And I would say that's foolish. But anyway, I appreciate you coming through, IH. You always argue with me, and it makes me crazy. But you do make some good points. I think I said you made one good point. Anyway, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Why not? I'll talk to you guys next time on Glib Talk. Peace.
If you talking to hear your own voice, that's clear. Using your platform to poop and pimp, that's clear. I can sell drinking water to a fish with clear. Tune in for a discussion with Glib. It's Glib Talk, Glib Talk, Glib Talk. 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 Let's all get right on the late night with a little discussion or a heated debate on sports, news, current events. Glib Talk is where you gotta tune in for facts and different opinions. This is Glib Talk, hosted by Adrian, who